Today we're talking about the heartbreaking passing of Akira Toriyama. TikTok is on the congressional chopping block again, and the largest fire in Texas history is believed to have been started by some power lines. All in this, a little piece of the world has just died. Episode of... But before we start, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. Hey Alice, let's pay our respects first.
We begin today's episode with the sad news of the passing of Akira Toriyama, a titan of the manga and anime industry, and a once-in-a-lifetime talent whose influence will be felt for generations to come.
That's right, Akira Toriyama, the legendary author and creator of the iconic Dragon Ball series, has died at age 68. Toriyama passed away on March 1st from an acute subdural hematoma, which is a type of brain bleeding, by the way. His studio said in a statement. A small private funeral was held for his family and close relatives. At the time of his death, Toriyama was actively working on several new manga projects, though Bird Studio hasn't specified whether those works are going to be released or not. Toriyama's most famous creation, the 1984 action comedy manga Dragon Ball, followed the adventures of a powerful young martial arts artist, Son Goku, or just Goku, who would beat Superman. It quickly exploded into an international phenomenon, spawning the hit anime series Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super, movies, video games, and merchandise galore. And nerds like me. Quote, Toriyama's character Goku is so iconic that he has his own float in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, end quote. Noted journalist Lauren Orsini, Dragon Ball's influence is so far-reaching that, quote, if it hadn't existed, we might not have some of the other major anime, like Naruto and One Piece. The entire fandom landscape would look different. The franchise attracted a massive global fan base, and Toriyama's creative impact extended well beyond just anime and manga. Even our beloved poop emoji can be traced back to the pioneering artist, drawing inspiration from a character in his groundbreaking 1980 series, Dr. Slump. He's received international acclaim over his storied 45-year career, including being named a Knight of France's Order of the Arts and Letters in 2019. He's now survived by his wife, children, and generations of loyal fans. Akira Toriyama's imaginative worlds and iconic characters have left a long-lasting mark on the global pop culture, inspiring generations of fans and creators alike. He will be sorely missed.
The U.S. government is advancing a bill aimed at potentially banning TikTok due to national security concerns. The bipartisan effort targets apps under, quote, foreign influence. TikTok, owned by ByteDance, must disassociate from its parent company within 180 days to avoid a ban. The bill has received significant support, including from the White House.
Okay, here we go again. The government is currently attempting to ban TikTok for like the millionth time, but this time, seems kind of serious. Now, there's a new bill called the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act, which they definitely could have come up with something easier to say. I don't know why they do these. Basically, it would allow lawmakers to identify social media apps controlled by what they see as hostile countries and ban them unless they cut ties with their parent company within 180 days. So TikTok could need to sell itself or completely break away from ByteDance, the Chinese company that owns it, or they're out of the marketplace. There's some gray areas on this. I don't know. I'm not at liberty to talk about it. Side-loading apps, friends. But you can only do that on an Android, so I don't know what to tell you. The bill is expected to be approved by the committee, or already has. I'm pretty sure it already has by the time this came out, and to head to the House floor for a vote soon. This time, though, even the White House is on board, saying they want the bill to reach the president's desk. So it looks like Biden might be Team Trump when it comes to wanting to remove TikTok. Now, they claim it's not a ban on TikTok, but it's about ensuring companies aren't owned by countries that could potentially want to do us harm. And by us, I mean the US. Which on some level is undoubtedly true. But, sure, we'll stick with this narrative for now. Little sus. Of course, those over at TikTok are freaking out, tweeting that the bill is an outright ban that violates Americans' free speech rights and hurts small businesses. They've even gone so far as to send notifications to users urging them to call their representative and speak up before the government strips 170 million Americans of their constitutional right to free expression. Which they're just the messengers, people. Stop with the strays, come on. Really rallying the troops on this one. Congressional offices have been bombarded with calls from angry TikTok addicts, some being rude to the poor staffers answering the phones. They're just the messenger. Stop with the strays. Apparently the tactic may backfire because some of the lawmakers who were on the fence are now leaning towards supporting the bill after seeing the TikTok bullying tactics, which I've also seen that apparently it's working, so time's gonna have to tell here on this one, guys. I don't really know what to say. As of now, the bill has unanimously passed the proposing committee 50-0, so it is something you may want to pay attention to if your livelihood depends on TikTok. Whether the app survives by selling or gets kicked out of the US, only time will tell. So what do you think? Are you team ban or save TikTok? Honestly, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. There's way too much money involved, but it's fun to see him trying again.
Investigators have determined that power lines ignited the largest wildfire in Texas history, the Smokehouse Creek Fire, which has devastated homes and ranches across over 1 million acres in the Texas Panhandle. Xcel Energy, the utility company involved, acknowledges its equipment's role in the Smokehouse Creek Fire but disputes any negligence.
All right, so apparently the biggest wildfire in Texas history, the Smokehouse Creek Fire that burned over 1 million acres, was started by some power lines, according to state investigators. The Texas A&M Forest Service said their investigation found those power lines ignited the massive blaze that destroyed dozens of homes and ranches all up in the Panhandle region. The fire started on February 26 and is still only about 74 to 80% contained. In addition, it would appear the power lines are also being blamed for starting a separate wildfire called the Windy Deuce Fires. I got a Windy Deuce for you. You'd think that by 2024 we'd have the technology to prevent incidents like this from happening, but they seem to happening year after year after year. Xcel Energy, based in Minnesota, is the company behind the lines and have admitted their equipment seems to have sparked the inferno, but they are disputing claims that they were negligent in maintaining their infrastructure. The wildfire blame game isn't new though. PG&E in California had to pay out a $13.5 billion statement after their power lines caused the devastating fires a few years ago that killed over 100 people. The Hawaiian Electric Company has faced some massive crisis too. There are signs that their lines may have been the cause of the Maui fires, which, if I need to remind you, were the deadliest in the US in over a century. Xcel is already dealing with a lawsuit from a 2021 Colorado fire that they likely caused by not shutting off the power when winds picked up. Failing to take the preventative action came at the cost of lives and homes. Simultaneously, nobody wants their lights going out unexpectedly, especially people relying on powered medical devices. And it can complicate evacuations when traffic lights go down. So, in their defense, there's kind of a cascading effect to consider here. Still, Xcel is urging people who lost their homes or had their livestock killed in the Texas fire to file a claim against them. They estimate that about 64 occupied houses were destroyed. It can be a tough balance for these utility companies: prevent fires by cutting power, or keep the lights on and risk disaster. There's really no easy solution when these wildfires are more extreme, unpredictable, and frequent as they are now. One mistake and an entire town can be wiped off the map. These companies better get prepared and start making some hard choices and invest in grid upgrades. What would you do if you were in their position? Sacrifice power for safety, or keep things running at your own risk? And on that, we're gonna call it. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you made it all the way here to the end, please hit that like button. Did it do the swirly thingy? Nobody's told me. Tell me, please. Anyways, I'll catch you next time. Have a great weekend. Bye.